of our kids from K-Kids from Willis. If you'd please stand and join me in singing My Country 'Tis of Thee, the invocation by Andy Meyer, and the Pledge of Allegiance.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. If you would join me in the pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Andy?
Dear Lord Jesus, I just want to thank you for the day. Thank you for the wonderful weather. Thank you for allowing these kids to come be a part of our meeting today. Let us always be mindful of what we are in the community and always be mindful of how we represent ourselves. In Christ's holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You can be seated. Mac, you want to welcome our guests, or? Okay.
All righty. Want to welcome our guests today. I know we have a lot of them from Willis Elementary School. Go Geckos, right? And if I could have the adults that came with them, if they would stand and just recognize themselves for me, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. We also have with us James Wisner. He's representing Dawn today from the Boys and Girls Club.
Hi, James.
And I think some of you have seen Pam Parmenter here before with the Early Learning Coalition, but she's standing in for Paul today. And in the midst of everything else, is there anyone that I have forgotten? Okay then. We welcome everybody here, and we hope that you have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you.
Jack Hawkins, you want to come on up and give an update on the foundation?
Oh, be glad to.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm chairing the foundation this year. We had one of our quarterly meetings just a few weeks ago, so just a very brief update. As far as the money's in our foundation, the market took a dip, and we've ridden through it, and we've come out on the other side in really good stead. But more importantly, we're going to have a joint meeting of the board of directors for the club and for the foundation on March 2nd. And one of the things we're going to be looking at is, where does the foundation go from here? When I say the foundation is a supporting organization for the club, so we support the club. We're good stewards. We've been good stewards of the money, and but one of the things we're going to be looking at, since we do not have a development director right now for the foundation, do we want a development director going forward? Would it be a full-time position? Would it be a part-time position? Things like that. So we're going to have a retreat of sorts on Saturday, March the 2nd, with the club members, the board of directors for the two organizations. If you have any questions or comments or want any input, please feel free to buttonhole your representative, if you will, from the club board or the foundation board. And, if anybody has any questions of me right now, I'd be happy to entertain those. Otherwise, we'll report back to you after our meeting in March. Any questions, comments?
Can you just
Rob?
update how much is in the corpus now?
We're in excess of $10 million. So we started with $8 million many years ago. I think it's really closer to about $11.5 million right now. We took a dip in December, as most organizations did, but we're not ones to panic, because we're going to stay the course through the highs and lows of the market. Our investment in the community and the monies that we have, it's in perpetuity. It's not a 5 or 10 year investment. It is a 105 or 10 year investment. So we're just going to stay the course. And that's it. Any other questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. At this time, we're going to do our members' moment, and I want to introduce Lemoyne Johnson.
Well, hi, I think, I don't know the kids, but I know most of the rest of you, and I'm starting out, I was born at an early age. It was about 10 days before they dropped the atomic bomb, so I'm pretty old. And I was born in Nebraska and went to school there. I ended up, my Kiwanis moment was, my dad was a Kiwanian, and he was president of the South Omaha Kiwanis Club for 5 separate terms, and I believe he was also the International Kiwanis Vice President one year when I was about 10 or 11, because he wasn't around much for about a year. He was gone all the time. But that's where I learned about Kiwanis, because I went to all of the bell ringings, I went to all of the Christmas card sales, the Christmas tree sales, and up there we actually had pancake feeds, and I was a pretty good pancake flipper. So that's how I got into Kiwanis and saw the real value of working with kids and everything, and that's that. After that, I went and I got my medical degree up in Omaha, and so same thing for my surgery residency, and then the Air Force called me down to Panama City, Florida, which I defended very well while I was there. We had no problems, and other than sunburns maybe. And after that, we moved down here, and I had a surgery practice in town for about 25 years. And I just got fed up with the bureaucracy, and I quit and opened my camera store, which is what I currently do. I have Johnson Photo Imaging out on Highway 70 at the interstate, and we sell cameras and we teach photography and all of that, and I'm the Kiwanis photographer. So I think that's about it.
Fantastic.
All right? How'd they do on the 2 minutes? All right.
John Vita, if you want to make your way up. Yep. Our next member moment is John Vita.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Vita, and I've been a Kiwanian since 1994, but really have been coming to Kiwanis meetings since I was about these young folks' age. With my dad, he was a Kiwanian for a long time and ran the Stag Bowl along with some of the other people in here, which is the NCAA Division III National Championship football game that we hosted here in Bradenton through this club for a while. It was a great source of pride for the club while we did it. It was really, really a cool event. But that's how long I've been involved in Kiwanis, probably since about 1976. I joined in 2004 and immediately was appointed to the chair of the what we called sponsored youth back then. It's called youth leadership programs today. So our key clubs, Builders Club, Circle K, and K Kids are all part of that. So I had that committee with the help of Judge Nicholas, who runs all of the K Kids programs. We just actually had our Builders Club person leave and move. Bill Edwards was doing the Builders Clubs, and I do the K Kids, and it's been great. So we have several different youth service clubs throughout the area that we sponsor directly. There's a bunch of them, and there's plenty of work for everybody to do. So if you're interested in being on that club board, that club committee, that we'd love to have you, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. I just celebrated my 25th anniversary as the youth leadership program chair, and I said that I would do it for longer than Stan Stevens did it, and I've broken that record. So not immediately, but over the next few years, we probably need to get some new blood into the position and somebody that can be enthusiastic about it. Not that I'm not enthusiastic about it, I'm very enthusiastic about it, but probably some new ideas and things like that. So if you're interested in doing that or being a part of the committee, please let me know. My Kiwanis moments were two: when my dad was awarded a Hickson posthumously, and when my wife got her Hickson in this room. I thought were two of my proudest moments of being a Kiwanian, because it's a family thing for us. So You're going to get out of the club what you put into it, and I hope everybody puts a ton into it because it's a great club. Thank you.
And if you want to come up here and tell us about your member moment, please let me know. We have slots available. I want to update you on the diaper drive. We have reached over 1,000 diapers, 1,114 diapers as of today. Let's keep it going. We're going till the March the 12th. And we're going to have our member drive at Anderson Race Park in April 17th. So if you know of a prospective member that would like to be a member of this great club, please consider bringing them to Anderson Race Park on April 17th. There'll be a board meeting tomorrow at Pier 22 at noon. If you would like to attend, please either get with me or Dave Grantham. Brenda Rogers would like to have a quick scholarship meeting after our regular meeting to discuss timetables. And one last thing I'd like to bring you up to date on, if you haven't been seeing the newspaper, Payless Shoes went bankrupt and went out of business, and what the foundation president, Jack, and I have decided to do is take those cards and give them to a local nonprofit immediately so that they can be used immediately, either that or we lose the value of the card. So we just want to let you know we're doing that. With that being said, I'd like to invite Christy Cardillo up to, oh, I'm sorry, Judge, I apologize. Judge, and then you can invite Christy.
Okay. Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome the Willis K Kids to our meeting here today. They're a great group of kids. Before I do that, I want to pay tribute and thank Ms. Ross and Ms. Morales. They lead this wonderful group. They don't get paid an extra dime, and sometimes it can be a challenge. So thank you, ladies, for what you do and for all your help with the K-Kids. This is a great group. Willis has been a member of the K-Kids family for a number of years. They do great service in the community. I want to pay special tribute to the son of one of our members. TJ, did you want to introduce your son? Put him on the spot.
My son, John Cornett. He's a 3-year K-Kid.
Woohoo! Again, this is a great group of kids. As you know, our club sponsors 9 K-Kids clubs throughout the community, and just think of all the impact that those kids have. And the idea is to get them all fired up about giving back to the community so that it becomes a lifelong passion. We're going to hear from Alexia and Mohammed today. They're going to tell us a little bit about what they've been up to this year. Let's give a warm Kiwanis welcome to Alexia and Mohammed.
Good afternoon.
I'm Mohammed.
And I'm Alexia from Willis Elementary. And we are very happy to be here with you today. We have both been working on some exciting projects this year that we'd love to tell you about. Our first project was the Taper Roundup. We raised over $300 that went directly to the pediatric unit at Manatee Memorial Hospital. In the last 3 years, we've donated over 700 teddy bears to local children in the hospital.
Just recently, we worked on a school campaign to celebrate No One Eats Alone Day. We've made posters to hang around the school and encourage our classmates to reach out to those who might need a friend.
Using our K-Kids money, we have purchased enough materials to put together 100 backpacks filled with utensils like toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap, and combs, and also coloring books and crayons. Thank you for having us today and leading an example by showing us what it looks like to make a difference in your own community.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I get the Willis K Kids to please stand up and let's give them a warm thank you and welcome for all that you've done. Woo-hoo. Well done, kids. Very, very well done. One quick commercial pitch. The Miller K Kids are having a car wash this Saturday from 9 to 1. So if you need your car washed, please visit Miller Elementary. They're a great group of kids. They're trying to add monies to the money that we give them, that you give them. So if you need your car washed, pay a visit to Miller this Saturday, 9 to 1. They'd love to see you. I'm going to turn it over to Christy, who's going to introduce our speaker.
How's everybody doing today? Me and this microphone. So I want to welcome everyone. We have a great speaker. Most of you probably know him, Sheriff Rick Wells. He's been our sheriff since January of 2017. And since we have all the kids here, I'll introduce him the way I know him. He was a football coach in North Manatee Storm. That's how I first met him when my son played football in the Storm. So to me, that's what makes him a great sheriff, because he believes in our youth, and he's a great coach and a mentor. So, Sheriff Wells, if you would come up.
Thank you all so much. Good to see you again. Appreciate having the opportunity to be here. I will tell you that as I coached football several years with my oldest son, at times that was more stressful than being your sheriff. I can only tell you. So, as all of you know, the growth of Manatee County continues to be an issue for us. We love to see the growth in our county. We know economically it's a good thing. We know that that we are right on the verge of becoming a major city. You may not enjoy that when you're driving around Manatee County. I don't know about you, but sometimes I grew up in Tampa early on, and sometimes I'm reminded of State Road 60 in Bradenton when I'm driving down State Road 70 or State Road 64. It's just the volume of traffic that we have here and the people that continue to want to reside in this great county. We have to continue to grow. That's what we're trying to do. That's the message that I have with the county commissioners on a regular basis. I guarantee you that they are tired of me talking to them about positions, but we are trying to catch up to what is already here. It's been coming. We've been dragging behind. It's here now. We know that the growth is not going to stop anytime soon. Right now, I have about 520 sworn positions at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Now, I don't know how many grew up here, but let me tell you something. 520 deputies used to be the entire staff of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, including office personnel and correction deputies. So we continue to try to keep up with what's going on. I have about 279 correction deputies. They work inside of our jail. That's their primary job every day, is to care and custody of the inmates that we have there and looking out for their needs as well. Last year we handled over 960 calls a day for service. Now, for someone like me who's been here almost their entire life, that still is just a number that I have a hard time wrapping my brain around. Over 350,000 calls for service in 2018. We just continue to have to adapt and do more with less. As you know, we have about 741 square miles of unincorporated territory in Manatee County. That's what I am responsible for. About 281,000 residents. I don't look at that number. We have about 385,000 people that live in Manatee County. That's what I'm responsible for. I don't care if they live in the city or in the county. They travel throughout. That's the number that we have to deal with. It's just a lot more than we've ever dealt with before. Last year we had a slight increase in crime. The early half of 2018, that first quarter, we saw a significant increase. We knew that we were having to deal with some crime that was rampant, and really that dealt with vehicle burglaries. That's what we were seeing early on. We were seeing young males, juveniles, and young adults, some from Manatee County, some from St. Pete, some from Sarasota, that would walk through our neighborhoods checking door handles. And the great thing about the time that we live in now is that everyone has a video. They have a Ring video. They have some type of video. So we're able to see these young males, 5 or 6 of them in a vehicle, get out, just walk down the street checking door handles. We know what they're doing. There's not much we can do about a criminal's desire or their ability to commit a crime. But ladies and gentlemen, we can limit the opportunity. And by simply not leaving our laptops and our iPads and our firearms and all those personal possessions inside of a vehicle unlocked would help me tremendously. People leave all of their personal property in a vehicle in an unlocked car, and we had over 900 vehicle burglaries last year, and all of them could have been prevented. One thing and that was the increase that we saw. Early on, it was vehicle burglaries and auto theft because of vehicle burglaries, because believe it or not, I didn't think this still happened, people leave their keys in their car. So we had stolen vehicles because people were leaving their keys under the mat, some in the ignition, some, you might as well just put a note on there that says, "Mr. Criminal, please steal me. I'm here for you." Some would leave their door unlocked with their garage door opener on their visor, like we always do, which gave them access to a garage with a vehicle inside there that was burglarized and stolen. So that's what we were dealing with. So there's your increase in crime. Now, I would tell you that the crime rate did not change in Manatee County. Why? Population. Even though we had an increase in the overall UCR reportable crime, and those are property crimes, we had a slight increase. The crime rate never changed because of the population. So but that does not satisfy me. I'm not happy with that. We can do better. We just have to continue to get the people in place. I mean, we wear this uniform, we drive that car around, not because we want to look cool. This job is about being preventative. We want to be proactive. More cars in neighborhoods deter crime. There's no question about that. But when you have the growth that's going on out east and north side, if you have a deputy that's responsible for 10 miles, and every day we have a new housing development being built within those 10 miles, it's very difficult to be as proactive as we want to be. So that's the conversation that we continue to have with the county commissioners. And they understand that. They've given me 20 positions in the last 2 years. I take up a very big chunk of the pie already when it comes to the county budget. But we have to continue to take into account that people are not going to want to move here to Manatee County if the crime rate is up. All right? 2 things that people care about the most when they move into a new community is crime and schools. There it is. So we have to do our part. Residential burglaries, home burglaries were down 14% because fortunately people still lock their doors at night. They still, we have better windows nowadays, right? So a lot of people with these new homes, they got the hurricane-proof type windows. It's harder to get into homes. They're locking, they're securing. We have video, so that was down 14%. Violent crime was down 10%. We made a very big push last year. We have detectives assigned to 2 task forces with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, ATF, and with the FBI. So the focus for us, was to get violent criminals that are carrying guns out of our community. They have no right to carry a gun. They're a convicted felon. They have to go to jail. That's what we focus on. So we were able to drive violent crime down. We also have a great partnership with our state attorney, Ed Brodsky. When he was elected, he made it a point to assign a prosecutor to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Back in the day, it was Judge Brian Eiton. And when he left, Don Buff. Now, let me tell you something. When you have a state attorney working with your investigators each and every day, your cases are stronger because Don is going to tell us that this case cannot go to court yet. You need more. You have to continue to work on that case. That's critical for us. So we're not wasting the court's time. We know this is a solid case because we have worked together to make sure that this person who belongs in prison goes to prison. So we want to make sure that the prosecution is tough enough to do what it's meant to do. And so Ed and Heather, just a great partnership that unfortunately doesn't happen in most counties. I've been around this entire state. You don't see the state attorney and the sheriff's office working together like they do here. So we're very proud of that. CPS, we're still unfortunately having to remove kids from homes because of neglect and child abuse. Over 4,000, almost 4,300 child neglect investigations that we were involved in last year. That's just far too many. Some of those are drug related, some are not. We just continue to try to do what's best for the children. I'm on the board for the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. Here locally, we made it a point years ago to keep siblings that have been removed from homes, keep them together and put them here at our youth ranch. So even though they're going through a lot of trauma, even though that they're being split from their mother and father, at least they can stay together. That was important for me to make sure that brother and sister could stay together, and that we have some great people there at the youth ranch that take care of them and try to do what they can to help them pass these difficult times. As you know, when I was first elected, we had a huge issue with overdoses in Manatee County and deaths related to overdoses. I don't even really call it heroin anymore. It was pure fentanyl, as you know, and that's what was killing people. And we have really worked hard with our U.S. Attorney to take those cases federally. So we worked with the U.S. Attorney and with the DEA to focus on drug traffickers and drug dealers in Manatee County, not those that were addicted. That's something that we have worked on through the treatment facilities to get them help. But if you're a drug dealer or if you're a drug trafficker and you're selling fentanyl in Manatee County and you know that it's killing people, I have no sympathy for you. I want you in federal prison and I want you to serve your time, and that's what we did. So we arrested 43 drug dealers and traffickers in Manatee County, 122 federal indictments. We worked with Chris Murray from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they are currently in federal prison. Now that has helped us as far as the poison that's being brought into the community, but we had to really focus on the victims of the epidemic. That's something that you don't see from law enforcement, but we knew that we were going to have to help them as much as we can, because if there's still a demand for that supply coming in, we always know that there's going to be someone else trying to fill the void of that last drug dealer. So we were able to put them into treatments here in Manatee County, Orlando, the whole entire Tampa Bay area. I have specialized deputies that go out to talk to those that have overdosed 2 or more times to see if we can help them, see if we can get them into treatment before something happens to them. And in the beginning, I didn't think it was going to work because they didn't want to talk to us too much. Obviously, they don't want to give up their information. But let me tell you something. After a while, when their family left them, their friends left them, they had nowhere to turn. We told them, if you need help, you call us. They started calling us. They started giving us information. A lot of those 42 indictments that came from the U.S. Attorney's Office came from those that were just tired of being tired. They wanted to change, they wanted to do more, and they wanted to get off of that, and they needed help, so we started helping them. So for the last 18 months, we've been down 72% in overdoses and 73% for deaths related to overdoses. So we're making a huge dent in the problem. Are we done? Absolutely not. We continue to fight the epidemic. It's a daily struggle. There's always someone in our community wanting to sell narcotics, and we continue to try to find them and get them out. One of the issues that we have at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office that we didn't have to deal with 10 years ago is traffic crashes. The Florida Highway Patrol they are hurting personnel-wise. They don't have the manpower necessary to keep up with the demand of traffic crashes. That's put a huge burden on me and my staff because we're having to pick up those traffic crashes that they just can't get to. And unfortunately, we've had people out here that have waited 2, 3, 4 hours for a trooper to respond for a traffic crash, and FHP just can't get there. So we're having to pick up that responsibility as well. And that's hard for us because we're trying to handle those 940 calls that we're having every day. We're trying to take care of everything else, but I can't have people waiting on the side of the road for 4 hours for a traffic crash investigation. So we're trying to do what we can to help FHP and to service. I mean, it's all about service and taking care of the public. So we're trying to do that on top of everything else. So that's been a burden. So we'll continue to talk with the county commissioners. We'll continue to have that discussion. And I'll continue to remind them that this is not Little Manatee County anymore. But we have to continue to keep up with the growth. And if we don't, this is the first time, y'all, that I've seen us really struggle with the growth, to really struggle to keep up with what's going on out here. Yeah, the crime rate is the same, but there's far too many people here for us not to beef up and to continue to increase the staff to keep up with that growth. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions. Yes, yes, ma'am. Hey. You know, what I like the most about being a police officer is being able to talk to people in our community, talk to kids, talk to different organizations such as yourself, and to talk to them about how not to become a victim. So we early on in my career, I spent so much time fighting the bad guy, always being involved in trying to solve a crime, that you don't get the time necessary to do true community policing. Community policing is really what we all strive to become as an agency. We want to spend time with people and really help them not be victimized. So there's a lot of good things that I liked early on that I can't share with you, can't talk about it, because it just was too hard to deal with. Now I can enjoy speaking with kids and speaking with people that truly want to hear what we're doing and not be so against us for not doing what they thought was needed. So that's a big part. You have one in the back here, young man?
Yeah, yes, sir. First of all, thank you very much for all you do in this Manatee County. It's unbelievable.
It's our pleasure.
I wonder if you can address two things that we're seeing that are modern in this day that law enforcement has to deal with: cybercrime and anti-terrorism. Can you talk a little about your role, the sheriff's role, and those things?
Yeah, so we have detectives that deal specifically with terrorism. They worked out with the FBI. We also work with the U.S. Attorney's Office. And then on cybercrime, we have detectives that have to be trained, that continue to be trained, continue to focus on just that. So let me tell you something. That's not an easy gig. You have to have an analytical mind. You got to really want to work on those type of cases because they are long and they're drawn out. But we're seeing more and more of those type of cases. So we only have 2 detectives that really focus on that. We also have to focus on child-related issues on the internet, and that has become a lot more prevalent than it was 10 years ago. That takes up a lot of time. That's one dedicated detective searching the dark web, trying to locate some of the issues that are on there with certain suspects. But we have to work a lot with the federal side. We work with all of our federal departments on Homeland Security and domestic terrorism, and we rely on them to help us with the intel, and then they rely on us to go out and take care of the threat. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
How does the sheriff's office number of deputies on the road per capita, how does that compare to the industry suggested best practice for per capita numbers on the road?
It all depends who you ask. I think sometimes the county commissioner and our numbers are a little bit different but they're getting information. Right now, we're down, currently we're down about 23 deputies. And that's not bad. And that really is because the county commissioners have continued to increase. So we're not bad. So we'll ask for more this current budget. Hillsborough County are down about 300 deputies. So obviously they're not having that same discussion with their county commissioners. Things are not jiving there. I can't complain about the work that the county commissioners have done for us. Without them, we would be in that same boat. So we'll get there. Right there, sir. Back here.
How many more people in Manatee County now as compared to a year ago?
Well, that all depends who you ask. I think from a year ago, I think it's around 11,000. 11 to 12,000.
We're growing at 11, 12,000 a year.
Right. I think that's been pretty consistent for the last Yeah, at least the last 5 years. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch in Manatee County. I think it would be incumbent upon the newer members to know that that ranch was created and built by this club through a gentleman named Bill Beckley, and was then given to the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch at a point in time, and has been run, what, now for 20, 30 years?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just made that statement. That's good stuff, because the original youth ranch started in Live Oak, Florida, right? Started by sheriffs, run by sheriffs back in the day, 1953. I can't remember the exact date, but it started in Live Oak, Florida. Each county that has made a decision to have a campus, you've got Pinellas, we have Polk County, we have Manatee County, we have one in Broward, and then one on the East Coast. But there's not a lot of campuses throughout. Manatee County is very unique. We need to cherish that campus. We almost lost it about 6 or 7 years ago during the recession. At one point, they had no kids there. It was closed down. We were able to bring it back and open it back up with the sibling program. We're very fortunate to have it here. In fact, I'll be, I was one of the first newly elected sheriffs to get on the board, because I feel so strongly about committing my time to helping young children, and we're going to, hopefully get bigger and better. Yes, sir, Judge.
Sheriff, since we have the K kids here today, talk to us about the resource officers at school and what they see handy and handed out.
All right. So what we're seeing, unfortunately, my young boys and girls, we're seeing a lot of candy that's being spread by kids that don't understand that what they're getting is not real candy. It's not a gummy bear. We're seeing marijuana inside of a gummy bear. We're seeing marijuana-type laced lollipops. We're seeing candy that is being intended to be sold for the actual THC content of the candy. So my advice to you, do not take any candy from anyone unless you know that candy was given to someone at a store. You know it came from a store. You know that your friend bought that at a store. Don't take candy from someone that you don't know. We don't know what's inside of this candy. It's become dangerous. We just had a school locally just 2 months ago where several kids took some candy that was laced with some THC, and they got sick, and they were taken to the hospital, and one of them overdosed. So it's a serious problem that we have to be careful about. We have to continue to talk to our children about not taking candy from anyone that, unless they totally understand that came from a legit store and they saw it firsthand. They can't trust the way it's wrapped. They can't trust anything about it. Unfortunately, that's just the time we live in right now. And I continue to try to talk to the young people about just, if you didn't buy it, don't eat it. And what else do you want to say, Judge? I don't want to cut you all short, because I may need you later on something. Yeah.
You would just continue that talk about bullying and maybe firearms at school.
We all have the, if you see it reported theme in schools, we have Crime Stoppers, right? We have Campus Crime Stoppers. We have kids that sometimes may bring weapons to school or stuff, and even though they don't mean to or intend to harm anyone, they bring it there for different reasons, show and tell. Who knows? If you know someone's carrying a weapon or firearm, what should you do? Yes, sir. You should tell a teacher. You got to tell someone right away, right? So if it's not the teacher, the school resource officer, an adult, you got to tell someone right away so that we can get in there and take care of it. And that's the message that we have to send to adults as well. If you see it, report it right away. Kids are a lot better than us, y'all. I'm going to tell you that right now. Kids are a lot better about reporting now than adults are. So just remember that. If someone tells you something, even if you don't see it, but you heard that someone else saw something, Go ahead and tell that teacher, tell that SRO, we'll figure it out. Let us make the choice, okay? Yes, sir.
Is there a time of year that your volume of work accelerates?
There used to be, back in the old days when we knew when the winter residents were here and we knew that they left. Remember those good old days? Okay. Because those days are long gone, brother. It's constant now. It's constant. All we do see, though, is we see the traffic. So we're going to see the traffic even get worse here in the next several weeks as spring training starts. And you can't hardly get over the DeSoto Bridge now, but you darn sure are not going to be able to get over it at lunchtime here in a few weeks because everyone's going to spring training, right? They're going into Lecom, not McKechnie anymore now, and so the traffic increases. But the traffic is so bad now anyway, I don't know if we really notice the difference like we used to back in the day. I mean, I tried to go down State Road 70 the other day, I turned around. I said, man, I'm not going, I'm gonna go through Arcadia. I'm going the long way.
Sheriff, find out if there's any.
I got one more question, John.
How are we doing with the gangs?
You know what? The gangs are not really the problem anymore like they were. They're wannabe, hipsters. We've got young kids that think that they want to be in a gang, but they're not truly. We're not. They're hybrid. We're not generational here. They're just bad people. They're young juveniles and young males that just want to cause havoc. Do we have some gangs in here? Absolutely, but they're not LA gangs, they're not Chicago gangs. Once again, they're wannabes. So we have our people on them constantly. We know who they are, we got them recorded, and whenever we have an opportunity to catch them with a weapon or a crime, we put them in jail. But, fortunately, knock on wood, we're not to that California type, activity yet.
See if any of the kids from Willis, any kids have a question. Any of you kids from Willis have a question for our sheriff?
Man, they're like, don't put me on the spot over there looking down here. Kids, though, thank y'all. Kids, thank y'all so much for being here. You really are the future, and I love what I see. I wish that the media would print more about all the good things that kids are doing in our community, because this is important. So, yes, sir.
I just want to say that Rick in the Sheriff's Office has been a wonderful, partner to work with, for the safety and security of the children in our school. So I just want to give him another applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David, for that. I'm proud to be from Manatee County as well, and this past year, I'll tout one of his programs. This past year, I had the opportunity to sit through his Citizens Academy. If you want to know more in depth about that Citizens Academy and what these officers go through, please take the opportunity to go to when's the next one coming up?
March.
In March, okay, there it is. March I think it's on Tuesday evenings, and the people that work the road that are out there fighting these crimes will be there to talk to you about all aspects of the sheriff's office. And one last thing to say about how great our sheriff's office is, for those of you who watched the recent hearing on Capitol Hill of an acting attorney general. I don't know if you even know this, but he actually talked about our sheriff's department and the jail and the opioid program that you're running. So our nation's capital knows about Manatee County. So with that, Sheriff, I know you have plenty of these golden rules. So you probably have a drawer or two of them. So again, I want to thank you for being here today. This rule is to help you measure your future success in this great county of Manatee.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Okay, before we close, Willis kids, please stand up one more time. We want to give you a big round of applause for all the great things you're doing in our community and out there at Willis Elementary. I want to remind everybody that we still have our diaper drive going on. There's a board meeting tomorrow at Pier 22. There's a scholarship meeting immediately after this meeting. And don't forget the Polland eradication car wash going on at Miller, with Miller K Kids this Saturday, correct? Okay, I know the pollen is out there, I can tell you. So if you need your car washed on the west end of town, please stop in and see the Miller K Kids. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here, all of our guests, all of the chaperones and teachers. We are adjourned. Yes. Yes, with the kids.